We first told you about Terry Lynn Robinson's ordeal a few weeks ago.
And I was actually over here, and I was packing his clothes here, and he lit the bed on fire there, and it is very lucky that I got out.
Robinson's husband set fire to their house last year after she asked him for a divorce. He was convicted of arson, but Robinson's insurance company, Allstate, denied her claim, citing a clause that nullifies an insurance policy if anyone named on it intentionally sets the fire, even in a case of domestic violence. Several provinces have passed laws forcing insurance companies to pay in cases like these. Ontario isn't one of them.
How many times can I lose everything? Lost it once, lost it twice a few days later when they denied my claim.
When we took her story to Allstate, the company told producer Rachel Houlihan and me it would review its policies in cases like these. We've since learned Robinson isn't alone.
And he have, light and fire coming. That's why I said, honey, what do you do? He yelling me, yes?
Wendy Sochek's husband, suffering mental illness, set their house on fire in 2010 when he doused her with gasoline. She spent 9 weeks in a coma and she's undergone 30 surgeries. But Allstate refused to pay for the damage to her home, citing the same exclusion clause. And in fact, was battling her in court while we were covering Robinson's story.
So let's start there, which was us believing there was this one circumstance. We knew there were others. You had come across them, but it was virtually the next day we learned about Wendy.
Yeah, it was a huge shock. We got this email from the lawyer saying, I couldn't believe it when I saw your story because I have a very similar case and I'm fighting it in court right now. And it was shocking.
So, in this past week, we've been telling people Wendy's story, and the story that we put on the National was 2 minutes, 37 seconds. As you and I know, it's right down to the second. There's so much you can't put in. You're focused on the facts of the story, but sometimes at the cost of the heart of the story, which is what you feel when you sit in their kitchen.
Yes, and I think with both these cases, I think we felt a huge amount of empathy for these women, and we were really concerned about making sure that we were respectful in our treatment of their stories, and making sure, though, that we struck a balance with making sure that the audience knew that these were real women who were undergoing incredible, monumental amounts of stress and heartache and financial hardship.
So part of what we're going to do today is something a little bit different, which is to show you more of the conversation that Rachel and I had. We were in Wendy's kitchen for over an hour.
Easily.
Hearing her personal story, not all of which we were able to share. So here's a chance to hear some of that. When you tell me about what happened, can you still see it in your mind?
I see what is, what that. Sometime, I said, why he do it for me? All the time when he coming, for the work, hi honey, hi can kiss, everything. I wanted help. I going to family doctor. Only problem, what is going to for the help. Another one, specialist. He have to wait a long time.
Are these hard for you to look at now?
It's very hard, because, I so love him. Why he do like for me? What I do for him? 32 years. When my friend surprise everybody what he do. He's very good, Everybody shocked. He screwed my life. I know, what he said, to before, after accident, he called, he said, oh, you very good wife, you very good mother, you very good grandmother for the grandchildren. I asked, why you do for me? He said, I don't know, I never understand why. 9 weeks, maybe 9 weeks. That's why doctor told to my kids, he said, it's very bad, you know, I hope if I be see for the eyes, because, you know, all eyes, everything knows, fire, ear, this side.
Your lips?
Lips, everything. He put, you know, here, and I lucky God, he gave me second life.
What was your feeling when you learned that the insurance company wasn't going to pay?
7 years I paid insurance for the house. For what? If I be never have very good friend, very good people who open my heart when is cry, when is coming here, I be never stay here. I be never stay here.
You've had very good people help you.
Very good people, you know, for the, like, everybody, even people never know me and coming help.
But the insurance company?
Insurance company no interesting. No interesting, only coming open, you know, door, making picture, lots of water and the floor, lots of damage. Nobody care.
They don't care about you?
No. If it be care about me, probably be ready be paid.
It's still moving.
Yeah.
I mean, we were sitting there as this woman was trying to understand her husband's onset of mental illness, still trying to understand if someone that she cared about, who cared about her, could do this.
There was so much about her doing this interview with us that was really brave. She really, really struggled to do this interview. Like, when we arrived at the house, as soon as she saw me at the door, she started crying because she was so nervous, and there was so much emotion that was still so raw for her.
And you know, sometimes we encounter someone in their home like this who's being so honest, raw. Mm-hmm. You kind of find yourself praying that you do justice to the story, that there will be a reaction. Sometimes there isn't, but in this case it was almost immediate.
Yeah, I think you and I are both quite pleasantly surprised and pleasantly shocked that MPP Mike Cole is presenting or has presented a private member's bill, which will effectively say to the insurance companies, you can't do this anymore. When somebody's an innocent victim of a crime like this, you can't deny a payout. So the support for that politically seems like it's very positive and like it may actually happen.
Right, and what was interesting too is both of the women that we had met in our stories were with MPP Mike Cole on Wednesday in Ontario, in Queen's Park, when he announced that he was going to introduce this private members bill. Yep. Here's a bit of Terry Lynn talking.
The only reason that I'm even in public saying things and doing things is so that it doesn't happen again. This bill, this law, this needs to go through so other women don't feel so alone.
And it's always, you know, I think interesting for me to be able to say to people, these are not politicians. These are not people who are in front of a camera, as I am all the time, where it's comfortable. This is really hard.
Oh, this was so hard for both of them. At one point, MPP Cole put his hand on Wendy's because she was struggling so much to get through the press conference. Terry Lynn, I mean, same thing. She didn't want to tell anyone her story, but she felt like it was just something that she had to do. And they were invited up to Premier Wynn's office, and they were invited to sit down, and she spent quite a bit of time talking with them, listening to their stories, and has said that this bill, this law, has her full support.
And of course, that's just Ontario, and we've been talking really about Allstate because it happened to be the insurer in the case of both women, and Allstate has responded to this. They've said that they're going to be reviewing their practices, but beyond that, they said that these two stories have shown, here it says it's recently come to light that this exclusion has had unintended consequences, specifically to victims of domestic violence. We know that they are revisiting Terry Lynn's case and that they have offered a settlement to Wendy. We don't know the terms.
But the question is, you know, this is just one insurance company, and even if Ontario passes this law, we're just another province. That still leaves the entire east coast of Canada and the north that don't have laws in place to prevent this from happening to someone else.
Thanks for this.